Hello and welcome back to another reading. Let's go ahead and jump in to see what may you need to know today. Today I'm in a different spot, as you may have noticed, but I'm excited to be able to do a reading for you here instead of my usual location. So switching things up, that may be significant for you too. Like, are you starting to integrate spirituality in more areas of your life, or starting to look at how the esoteric practice is showing up for you currently? Well, we see here the Hanged Man, so some Neptunian energy present for you. Wow, you could very much be in your own practice of the esoterics and the, tapping into your spirit team and learning, like, how do you bring your multidimensional self more intentionally to these different spaces that you navigate in your life. It's just really beautiful. Let's go ahead and see what you are needing to hear today. Oops. This one did a flip and a turn, and it was sticking out, so we'll take it. Go ahead and put this over here. Okay, let's see what we have here for you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so in the overlay, are you kidding? New beginnings. There's a whole new chapter that's transpiring in your life. I'm getting this sense of written, like you've been working on this next chapter. You've been brainstorming and identifying the things that you would like in this next stage of your life. And it shows that it's about to happen, like you're about to transition into this next chapter. And with this Nine of Pentacles here, I mean, it feels like you're well aware of the resources that are available to you, and you're like ready to use them. Like it feels like very much like this preparation, like this new beginning is something that you've been anticipating for some time. But it also feels like maybe for a little while, or even right now, there's a little bit of a delay. With this, here, I'll put it in the upright so you can see this imagery a little bit better. We see that both of these figures are going off into this direction. So in the reverse, it's going off to my right. I'm not sure if this image is mirrored. That could be significant as well, of you like noticing reflections in others, of yourself. And the pacing, it feels like the pacing is really important here. It feels as though, since this is moving into the right, this is towards the future. So I'm hoping that it shows that way on your screen as well, where both of these figures are moving to the right. Here, usually this would be like a pretty fast moving energy, right? Like this, this Knight of Wands, so embodying the fire element, or taking this fire element onto this like path of knighthood, self-discovery, application. And I'm hearing also like trial by fire. So that could have been very much one of the themes of this chapter that you're moving out of. But with this in the reverse, it could feel as though like there's a little bit of slowing down here. So there's not as much of a forward charge. And it could also signal like some of the shadows of the fire, right? Like the handling of the fire could also be burning in your hands. It could feel like there's a little bit of haste, a little bit of recklessness. I usually get those things with the Knight of Swords in reverse. So I'm not sure if there's an imbalance of air for you at this time as well. But it seems like the fire, there's a little bit of movement there, as though there's not as much balance as you would like. But it feels like there's some things that you're doing to try to bring things into balance. And I'll put this in the upright so you can see it again. So with this Seven of Swords here, that I feel like a lot of people, at least when I hear the interpretation of this card, there seems to be a little bit of conflation between this and another swords card, where there's like, it's the Five of Swords, where the background is gray, and there's like this stealing of swords, right? Like people have their backs turned and this person is just like grabbing the swords without them knowing. With the Seven of Swords, yes, this person is kind of like grabbing swords and like making a run for it. But as you can see here, the background is golden. So, and you can see also the expression. Well, hopefully you can see that. It's like, ooh, sweet swords. You know, it's like, I got what I came for. And so to me, this feels almost kind of like a restoration of justice. That's something that's coming through really strong right now. So with this in the reverse, it may signal like, oh, like I'm really wanting this like restoration of justice. I'm really wanting to go in and intervene on an issue that I'm noticing. I'm wanting something to occur so that I can feel a little bit better. And it's like, it's divinely led. With this in the reverse, I can feel like it's hard for me to access that right now. And that may be informing some of this slowing down that's happening. So, you know, given that there's these two cards in the overlay, right? Like these are big themes that are occurring for you right now. And with the Tower being a major arcana, whenever, you know, major arcana comes out, that's typically a big theme that's occurring in someone's life. But with both of these in the overlay, I feel like that's like further underscoring the theme of the Tower. So signifying that there are some things that are like crumbling down and being rebuilt. But it's exciting, especially with the Nine of Pentacles, because it's like, oh, you're anticipating this, you're knowing that this is here, you know what resources you have, and you're like, you're planning, you're ready, you know? So with both of those kind of being the kind of like the band or the rainbow that's in your life of what you're experiencing here, it feels like you're not quite into that transition. You're kind of in that limbo space. Yeah, that's a little bit of the sensation here. Even though the mind may be pretty active, again, you may be like planning and knowing your resources and thinking things through. There's something kind of slowing you down. And it seems like around something that you're wanting to be restored into balance before you take this next step. But there's some resistance there. It feels like you can't quite access that. And it might be because you might be feeling a little burnt out, especially with this, like the fire element in reverse. Yeah, it could be feeling like, you know, you're a little burnt out right now. But you're wanting something to be restored into balance. You're wanting a sense of justice. You're wanting to like intervene in some way that again is like divinely influenced, but that takes your action to do it. But you don't quite have the energy to make that action. Let's go ahead. I'm actually gonna pull a couple more here to just help us understand a little bit more about why that is. And it's 1:11 on my clock. Okay. So the card that came out, and we'll look at the bottom here too. So we have the Knight of Cups in the reverse. So this is also a slowing down of like application of what you've gleaned related to water. So like emotional wisdom, right? But what we see here that came up in the reverse is the Devil card. So this is you moving out of the shadows. So that could be informing some of the speed, right? Like, I feel like the shadow realm or the shadow space, the time there feels very, I don't even know how to describe it. It's very warped, you know, especially in the place of illusions. Ooh, yeah. Time there is really, really warped. So that could be informing some of this like slowing down, is like, okay, I've kind of dipped into the shadow space, and now I'm trying to bring myself out so that way I don't feel as burnt out. And maybe, you know, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg, right? Like, which one came first? Like, was it that, you know, you dipped into the shadow space and then that has made it more difficult to sustain the work that you're doing and you're feeling really burnt out? Could it be the other way around? I find that for myself, there tends to be something that may elicit that response, right? And for a lot of people, dipping into the shadow space could be a trauma response, or even just a way of trying to cope with whatever is present, right? Like I see the Devil card is also a signal of like, oh, there's a lot of stressors here, and so we're like leaning on the ways that we've learned how to survive in the past, and they're not ways that we necessarily want to be like living as in the moment, right? Like maybe we don't want to, you know, eat this type of food, or don't want to isolate, don't want to like consume this type of film, or consume this type of media, or treat people in this way, like, you know, blocking myself off from other people. But those are all like self-protective strategies, and trying to like, you know, engage in that self-preservation, right? Like trying to protect the vulnerability that lies underneath. So there may have been something that prompted you to do that recently. But I see you moving through that. I see you being aware of it. You're trying to do your best to address it and come back out, because you know that there's this huge transition that's happening, and there are some things that you're needing to do, you know. Let's go ahead and pull from this meditation deck to see what messages might be here for you as well. What would be helpful for them to know at this time? Ooh. Okay. So I'm going to pick that card up here in a second. But here at the bottom of the deck, we see that there's protection for you. So I find that, oh, how interesting. Okay. Multiple things are coming up. I'll share the first thing first. I find that when we travel into the shadows, when we travel into the shadow realm of our own shadows, the collective shadows, it can feel very dark and, again, like warpy and illusory and a little eerie, you know, at times. And it can feel almost as though like we're traveling there like alone. But this here is saying that as you traveled, that you've been protected. And what was coming up for me is that as I was doing my meditation for this reading, I have this ritual of this place that I go to tap into the shore of consciousness before I tap into the stream of light that's meant to come through in this transmission for you. So as a part of that ritual, I walk down these steps as I make my way towards the corridor that would then lead me to the shore of consciousness. And today as I was walking down those steps, there was little me holding onto the hand of this large figure that then, like at first, it was kind of like this cloud, this dark cloud of gray around it. And then it cleared up and it showed that it was an angel. And then I saw the dark cloud, and then I saw the angel. So, and then I called, like adult me to walk behind them. And then we walked to the sea of consciousness. The angel was fully formed, and I asked the angel to sit with and protect little me as they waited for me, as I stepped into this stream of light to deliver this message. And this here, it makes me think about how there's protection for you and also little you as you engage in this work. I find that engaging in our own healing, whether that's through mental health treatment or, through our own practices, or, bringing in spirituality, calling in our spirit team, whatever that might look like for you. Sometimes it can feel pretty lonely and as though we're not being heard. But this here is saying that you're wrapped in light and you're protected. You're protected. And I've never noticed that with this card before, but seeing it kind of like being pulled back a bit, it looks like at different distances, different images show up, right? So like at about here, I'm really being drawn to the cross. It feels like there's an emphasis on the cross. From far away, it seems as though there's this figure here in the middle that's standing, and there's two angels here. There's two spirit team members here. There's light being emitted from the top, so from the crown, and there's light being emitted or even being drawn into the heart space. And then up close, it looks like there's an eye here. So it really feels like there's different layers of protection for you across different dimensions here. Like this feels multidimensional, which feels in line with what we talked about earlier. Let me go ahead and grab that card real quick. Give me a moment. Okay, thanks for waiting. So I see patience. This was the card that fell on the ground. So there's a waiting again. And I feel like that's a confirmation of what we had talked about before. This waiting that's happening, kind of in this limbo space. And I'm wondering, what do you feel like you're waiting for? Because here in your reading, it feels like there could be a few different possibilities. Like one is waiting for this transition to happen, right? Like, okay, I'm prepared, I'm ready, I know my resources, I know what I'm gonna do. Let's just transition, But seeing this card, it feels like you're waiting for something to kind of walk through this door. So this could be something to meditate on for yourself. As you envision yourself sitting here in this chair, looking out into the ethers, who do you wish would walk through that door? What version of your life do you wish to peer into? This feels really important. And I get the sense that whatever visualization process or practice you might be engaging in at this time could greatly inform this next chapter. The fact that there's like so much energy through that doorway and how it's like lighting up this room, it's offering you somewhere to look into. It almost feels like a television, with someone sitting there and like looking there. Yeah, it feels like an opportunity to visualize what you would like in this next chapter and for that to actually manifest. So you're getting that opportunity right now. There's also something too, as I look at this image a little bit more, you'll notice this person's in a rocking chair and their feet are positioned on the ground in a way that they're like rocking. So you can imagine that this person is sitting there rocking themselves as they're waiting. That motion of rocking is such a wonderful way to regulate the nervous system. So this could signal too that you've been feeling a little dysregulated lately, and this could be an opportunity to tap into strategies that can help you feel a little bit more regulated. And one of the ideas that seem to be coming through is rocking or swaying, doing some type of movement that helps your body feel a little bit more calm. This could also involve and I know we've talked about different strategies in the past here, but it seems like this is a good time to maybe incorporate some of that for yourself. Okay. Well, it looks like that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for doing this work. I wish you the best of luck in your journey. And you're not just doing this for you. Like I always say, you're doing this work, this really hard work of transmuting densities, not just for yourself, but for your lineage. Physical, ancestral, ethereal, and like we had talked about before, even extraterrestrial. It sounds like that's something that's been coming through for some of you that's been here. You're also transmuting these densities for me and ultimately the collective. So thank you so much for doing this work. I wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.